Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Nayasim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. The truth is that a majority of white people do not have black friends, right? They never come in contact with black people. They only probably see them from far. But they always have something to say about black people, you know. If they don't say woke, they say DEI, or there is nothing, you know. They wake up with different things. But then how do you talk about people that you do not know? This is the problem. Something that I am also going to say is that if you are a white person and you are right in front of you, something is happening to a black person from your own people, and you are not checking them out, especially when you know that they are actually being racist towards the person, you are part of the problem. How do you want to change the world if you do not start speaking up? The truth is that the ancestors really did a great job. When I say a great job, you definitely will understand where I am coming from, right? They really did a great job. That majority of them to this very moment have never had any serious or tangible relationship with black people. But that spirit that ancestors gave them, that their spirit, they transferred it to them, and to this very moment, they are still very much upset. So we tell you, black people, keep everything, keep your own, and let us keep our own. We can't do brace, we can't do this, we can't do that. Can you people stop? No, we ain't stopping, because you all never did all that, not until it became fashionable. You all want to do everything. Let's get into this video.
Hey, fun fact, but I lived in the United States as a Canadian for a number of years. Oh, please don't hate me for that. And while I've talked about that before, the issues of healthcare, for example, this video is about racism. To say that I experienced culture shock as a white boy from a small city in Ontario, Canada, transplanted into the US is the understatement of the century. I mean, there was only 2 black families that I knew of in my hometown in Canada. And then I find myself in southern Florida. I wasn't accustomed to seeing so many black people, but I also wasn't prejudiced by the history of racism in the US either. So it was what it was. Not to say that racism didn't exist in Canada or doesn't today, but at the time I was barely 12, so I wasn't exposed to it the way others may have been. But I remember being asked in homeroom practically on day 1 if I was a redneck. Now, I had no idea what that meant, but I sensed I was going to have to be if I wanted to fit in, so I said I was. And I remember going into a Kmart store, do you remember those stores? And seeing this poster. On it was this grizzled old soldier in a gray uniform proudly hoisting a tattered Confederate flag, and the caption underneath exclaiming, "Save your Confederate money, boys, the South gonna rise again." At the time, from that place of naivety, I just remember thinking it was a cool poster, not understanding its meaning. I saw the Confederate flags for sale too, and I had first seen it on the top of the hood of that classic 1969 Dodge Charger in the show The Dukes of Hazzard. I thought it was cool, the car and the flag. And that's how insidious in some ways that racism, or at least white supremacy, presents itself, isn't it? I mean, there was a primetime popular TV show about these good old boys from Hazard County, Georgia, Bo and Luke Duke. You couldn't get any more all-American than those two if you planted a fresh baked apple pie on it as a hood ornament on the General Lee. Speaking of which, again, this subconscious perpetuation that General Robert E. Lee was a hero of the South. Anyway, I digress. These images, the flags and statues and culture of the South, all harkened back to a time when black people in America were slaves and reinforced that idealized time for white folks. But then I saw the darker underbelly of racism for the first time. A fight had broken out between a black boy and a white boy, and everyone encircled the two. I was sort of standing off to the side, away from the circle, observing. I'm a lover, not a fighter, and even back then that was true. And all the white kids were chanting. I listened, and it still haunts me to this day. The chant went, "Fight, fight, N-word and the white. The white don't win, we all jump in." And I've thought about that so many times in the 40 plus years since. I was too afraid to object at the time, too scared to stand up. But imagine being in that black boy's shoes, a boy of maybe 12 or 13, oppressed his whole life, undoubtedly in poverty, and realizing that if you don't win the fight, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you anyway. It had to be demoralizing, knowing you were done for either way. And I watched from my seat on the school bus many mornings on the ride to school as white boys hurled slurs and threw rocks at and otherwise picked fights with black kids. Flash forward a decade and a half and I'm heading to Atlanta for a work conference. I'm at one of those highway travel plazas with fast food, and I'm in line at an Arby's to get something to eat. In front of me is a black gentleman. It's his turn to order and he steps up to the counter. The white female cashier deliberately leans to the side, makes eye contact with me and says, "Can I help you, sir?" in the politest voice possible. I was dumbfounded, and I paused for a moment before saying back, I think this gentleman was ahead of me. And I point to the black man. Well, she looks shocked, turns her gaze to him, sneers, and says, "What'll you have?" in just that kind of tone. He orders, pays, and waits. When she brings out his food, she basically hurls it onto his tray and dismisses him. As he turns, he made eye contact with me and he whispers a "thank you." And folks, some of you might be saying, well, that was 30, 40 years ago. Things are way different now. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. Certainly not in the South. But white folks have learned to hide their racism better, depending on the company they're in anyway. It hasn't gone away, it's just gone underground. They still talk about it over a cold beer or a hot meal. But that hate and anger towards black folks it's simmering just underneath the surface and ready to boil over. See this whole America First rhetoric, the ICE raids? It isn't really about American protectionism. It's not about patriotism. Not really. It's just become the outlet for that hatred of anyone who's not white. It's always been acceptable to be patriotic, though, even if it's no longer acceptable to be outwardly racist. I'll bet the chants no longer happen, and you don't see that Confederate flag flying around nearly as much, but they can wave American flags and exclaim their pride for God and country without seeming racist. They'll tell you they have black friends, that they're not racists, that they just love America and want to protect it. But see it for what it is. Racism, pure and simple. It's why too many disenfranchised people in America voted for Trump. He's openly racist and they wish they could be too. They want that old America back. They're saving their Confederate money in preparation for the South rising again. And they're prepared to start a civil war if needs be. Let's hope if they do, it ends the same way it did last time. But don't fool yourself into believing that eventually those old attitudes will change. They continue to pass it down generation to generation like a valuable family treasure. Talk about it over the dinner table, over fried chicken and hominy grits and biscuits with white gravy, meals they abdicated from those black slaves many years ago. The glory days when America wasn't so woke and people weren't so sensitive, telling their children and grandchildren to bide their time. Peace out, and if you're not already following me.
Dear white people, this one is for you. I might have to run in about a minute or two to go fetch my food, but before I do that, I just want to cover some things. Can I just say, we would not be in your countries or on your continent if you decided not to come to our continent, Africa, and forcefully remove our people, our forefathers, to come and build your cities, raise your kids, live on your plantations, and make you money. So, why am I getting into this? So, I'm currently in Florence, Italy, and for the past, let's say last 2 weeks, I've just been dealing with so much racism, silent racism, and people think we don't know. So starting off with a lecturer at my university, the ignorance of her when she found out I'm from South Africa, still asking me, is there apartheid? Because her friend is currently in South Africa and he is in segregation. So please tell me where in South Africa, number one, I will wait. Because where I live, Johannesburg, where I'm the other part of my life, Cape Town or the Eastern Cape, I don't know who's being segregated and who is being dealing with apartheid. Number two, why am I in Europe? Let me think. I had to come here to come study about native Italian flora that, you know what I've picked up in every single place we went to has South African flora. So how am I doing my qualification outside of South Africa? Oh, because you guys came to our country and stole all our minerals and our plants and our herbs and also a few of our people while we were at it, and brought them here to work your fields, teach you guys about technology, about being civil. Let's start there. So yeah, this is why we're here. And you know what's the worst? I actually saw a TikTok about a woman talking about how racist Italians are. And I was like, you know what? Yes, there's like racist people everywhere, but it can't be that big chunk. Guys, my host told me directly that if she's like, firstly, she asked me, how have we been treated in Italy since I've been here? So I was like, fine, I've been here before. Like, I know my way around. I don't bother people. Then she's like, how are they treating you? And it took me a minute. And guys, sometimes I'm very delusional and I don't care about certain things. But I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, because Italians. A whole woman who I'm living with, my entire host, told me how stuck up Italians are and how racist they are. So then I asked her, are you? Because we're going to have this conversation, right? If you're going to bring it up, we're going to have it. Then she's like, no, but you pay. And immediately it struck me. So something my partner always says to me is, class beats racism. If you can pay your way, people will overlook the color of your skin. And I've noticed this at the college I'm at. I've noticed this where I live. I've noticed this where I go eat. And I've also noticed how different I'm treated when I go with my UK friend, my British friend, and my friend from the States, and when I go by myself. Also, just bearing in mind, I am the first South African at my college of color, because the fact that I still get asked about my hair, about my accent, about where I am in South Africa, all these things, please explain to me, how did we not evolve? Oh, they didn't. Because you know why? Two of the lecturers told me that Europeans, Italians in particular, live in their own bubble and they don't bother with other people and they're ignorant. And I couldn't agree with her more. And after she realized what she said to me, she went back. It was about a week. And she came back to me and she's like, I need to apologize to you. I think I offended you. I was like, no. You just showed who you are. But you did say you're ignorant. So here we are having this conversation. You knew you were going to say something ignorant before you opened your mouth. You should have just kept quiet. But no, your ignorance superseded your arrogance and your racism. And here we are now having a conversation that makes you uncomfortable because you know what? I have learned to deal with people like you. And then you ask me, but Rubain, then why do you keep going to Europe? Number one, besides me hating winter, and it's currently very cold in South Africa, I like heat. And I'm also an intellect. So I go to places where I can get unique and different forms of education. And Europe, unfortunately, Italy is one of those places where I can come and study my herbology and alchemy to my heart's content and move on. Secondly, being in such a racist country, also gives me safety and freedom. Because one, you're not going to talk to me and you're not going to approach me because why? I'm a person of color. So, excuse me. Woo. So you are not going to approach me. So I have a level of freedom and silence that I require that I do not have when I'm in South Africa, when I'm in the US, and definitely when I'm in my parents' house. So yes, I do choose some form of silence, but I do slightly have to pay with the racism that goes on around me. But I am not oblivious to it. I know what it is, and I've just learned how to deal with it because I was in the States for over 5 years. That is another place. So dealing with these ignorant Europeans that was once peasants and literally built their cities and their churches off the backs of black people, you know what? It's okay because I know who I am. The issue is you don't know who you are until you've come to the point where you are comfortable with saying that you're a racist, like my host did, and then realize what she said. I'm not saying anything. But you know what I also got to do? I will be in Europe and I will eat a chicken vindaloo from the Indian shop down the road because you know why? I am used to spice. I'm not going to eat your carbs because another thing you guys only have is carbs. I come from a country where we have spice and we have flavor and we are just dripping in gold. You guys are pale, no flavor, and absolutely no seasoning. So I do hope this reaches the right amount of people, so you do understand my level of frustration. But the truth of your desperation, greed, and resource envy just supersedes every disconnect you have to spirituality and culture. So once you can tell me what your culture and who you really are, leave me alone. And I will definitely walk in your streets. Because you know why? I can and I will.
You are a Black content creator here on this app, and you start your videos with, "Dear white people, we don't want your advice." Okay? We don't want your advice. When you start a video like that, you immediately are putting all of us on the defense, because just like you can't help the color of your skin, we can't help the color of our skin. Some of the content creators that I have seen lately on this app, you guys are obsessed with us. You're obsessed. We're not spending our days thinking about you or how we can make offensive videos towards you. Dear Black people, dear Black women, or advice for Black women. I'm not gonna give you advice. I don't have any of your lived experiences, and I'm not gonna pretend that I do. If I ever came onto this app and I said, "Dear Black women, I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this," you would immediately be put on the defense so fast. You'd be pissed because you're like, I'm not gonna listen to this white woman give me advice on like my hairstyle, how I dress, how I talk, where I live, what I do. I saw a woman on this app yesterday, and the comments they're not disappointing, because you have other Black women in there, Black men, that are all coming at this lady because she started her video that way. It's like, I don't need your advice. Why are you so obsessed? Why are you so obsessed with us and what we're doing?
Well, the reason that it is because it's always been popular, as far as I know, in my lifetime, for Black people to pick at white people. Because Black people for a long time have considered themselves a victim. And so now they're taking this opportunity to get 3, 4, 5, 600 years of reparations back from white people, which is so dumb. It's so stupid, because no person that I know that is alive today has ever experienced any kind of slavery, racism, and all of that stuff. And so now what's happening right now is called culture gatekeeping. And what culture gatekeeping is trying to control the narrative of how other people receive you based off of what you think is your culture. So for example, There's a lot of black women that are wrong as far as understanding where cornrows came from, but right now it is super popular for black people to have braids and cornrows. So if they see a white person have it, then they're going to start off their video and say, "Dear white people," and then they're going to go into how it is that you're culturally inappropriate for appropriating their cornrows, right? And I'll also tell you this. There is a lot of black people that take their talking points from popular culture, which is often wrong. And so they're loud and wrong at the same time. Now, I will tell you, and I know this goes without saying, but we got to have this conversation in its entirety, that nobody is a monolith. No white person, no black person is a monolith. So if I ever run into a white racist woman, I can't just apply that to you and to every other white person and then get mad at all white people.
Dear white people, y'all are your ancestors. Y'all really live by the guilty until proven innocent. This young man was defending himself, but y'all automatically just said he was guilty. He had $1 million bond over his head, and the judge felt need to let him free. I did a video last night before I went to bed, and do you know how many comments I had to delete? Or the ones that stayed in the other file of y'all saying that he was wrong? Y'all don't care if he was wrong or he was right. Y'all care that he was black and the other one was white. Y'all are your ancestors. And don't worry, because we are our ancestors. Fuck around and find out. Have a good day.
So I'm riding, just minding my business, and a white man pulls up on the side of me at the corner. Now, this has never happened to me before, so I was quite shocked. So he decides to roll his window down and holler out the window, "Nigger." I was appalled. Like, I know in this climate with this new administration that it's really popular to be as racist as you guys was when we were unable to sit at the counter with you. But you guys have got to stop. Y'all got to stop. Like, for real. This administration has made y'all feel real safe out here doing the things that you're doing. But what if I was a YN? It would have blew your head off. Like, y'all got to stop. Like, this is not cool. Completely uncool. We bleed the same way you bleed. Y'all gotta stop with the hate and the racism. It ain't cute. Just stop.
This is all I got
Please,
from
pause.
those videos. You know, I've been telling you people that before you know what it's going, it's not like before you know what it's going on, because it's really happening straight up right in front of everybody's eyes. People are already knowing what it's going on, especially people from Africa. You know, one thing is that you cannot hide the truth for so long. No matter how long, you know, you hide it. You can't hide it for so long. I love the fact that everybody is trying as much as they can to educate themselves, and that is something that I really do love. And like I have been saying, trust me, in few years to come, right? I hope that in few years to come, the people in diaspora will not have to listen to a white person, right, to know anything about black people. But one thing I am also going to say is that I hope we also will not start fighting one another, because in the end, we are the same. You know, one thing I have learned being in this space, talking about black people, it has given me the sense to appreciate anybody that I come in contact with, especially someone that look like me. I treat everybody like myself. And I try as much as I can to be very respectful, you know. The other day I stepped out to check, fix my phone because the battery is like, running low. I don't know why, it's just like, not super strong, but I don't blame the phone because it has really done so much work, So right there, I met about 3 people. I think they are from Zimbabwe. Oh my goodness, we had a very good chat. I never met them. A very beautiful chat. Like, I was like, wow, this is actually the world I look forward to, where we can see one another as one, see each other as the same, and not have to believe or see you or see other black person from the lenses of my oppressor, right? Moving forward. One thing I have noticed is that these people cannot actually go a day without talking about black people, because if you see majority of the videos that I have been bringing here, you definitely will know that it is always them starting the conversation. It is probably when they overdo that black people will come and say, you see this, it is enough. We don't want to take this anymore. But you definitely will know that black people don't wake up to stir up anything. Why? Because they have things to do. They are not in anybody. You are not in their mind. But now, there is something that I noticed, because I remember something that I told you people that these people are really being extremely careful. Why? Because they do not want to lose any pain, and they do not want to be taken unawares. That's why they cannot do without calling your name, talking about you. Yeah, they are that very careful. Because tell me how you wake up in the morning, it's black people, black fatigue. Excuse me. It's black fatigue. It's black people are the problem. The liberals, the woke, the DEI. It really takes somebody that is into you, somebody that monitors you every day to know all this. Because you are not seeing, I don't see you, you don't see me, right? Even majority at times, even if you drop comments, most times, like often, it takes a lot for me to know, okay, there are some people that I know I see their comments. If I don't see their comments, I'm like, oh, this person didn't drop comment. Or there are some people that I know they drop comment once in a while. And when I see them, oh, she's here. That doesn't mean that the person is not always there, right? But the person chose to drop comment today. So all these things, I do not have any grudge against anybody, because we don't see. It's just mutual love, respect, and understanding, right? But no. Even majority of them do not even know you. Some of them do not know anything about black people. They don't have black friends. Nothing. But the fact that their ancestors already, the HATR, that's that they pass from them to them, still works. It's still very, very active. And they will always look for a way to activate it anytime they get. It is that crazy. And it's called madness on a serious note. If this is not madness, tell me what it is. And the man that is, the problem also that I have is that, let me tell you something. I know I am an African woman. Yeah, I am very proud of that, because I remind you people all the time. So nobody will tell me. I see you people telling me, talk about Africa, and all. I see a lot of people making fun of me that I am African, I am Nigerian, and I am Igbo, to be precise. I don't hide it. I say it all the time. So you will get used to it. But if you ask me, I am going to tell you that once I leave Nigeria, once I leave Nigerian airport, right, and there is no more black people there, it is maybe brown or white people that I am seeing, automatically I am a black person. They don't care where you are from, because they don't know. So I am for my people, because if I am not for my people, who will I be for? So anyway, I think some of them are not using but man, not me. Never. Forget that money. Forget it. I don't need it. Because the moment I stop being my own people's keeper, I mean, the game is all over. There is nothing to play anymore, right? First, my mom would tell me that, and my dad, they would say, first of all, you secure your space. That is, I secure my people first before securing any other person. That is, if there is need. But if not, secure your people and stick with them. Because if you do not stick with them, you are. I will drop this here and bye for now.